Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Donald Clark. I'm one of the acupuncturists at CNY Fertility, CNY Healing Arts. I hope you are all well. So it's been a couple weeks, and in that amount of time, boy, has fall really kicked off here in central New York. And I can honestly say it's one of the prettiest falls we've had in a few years. Normally our leaves, they kind of just turn brown and fall, and then that's that. But this year, boy, they are sure colorful, and it's everywhere too. Once in a while you'll get pockets of colorful leaves, but this year the fall foliage is spectacular everywhere, so you can't go wrong. And I think it's like that across the northern hemisphere this year. So I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying it. We still have yet to get our first frost. I know so many people have gotten a frost, but we have yet to get our first frost. And so all of our flowers are looking amazing still. And I'm pretty psyched, but the forecast is calling for some snow next week. So it's about time. It's a smidgen early, but not too much. Normally it snows quite a bit right the first week after Halloween. You can literally set your calendar to it. So today, a question that I get a lot, but I never really bring it up, is intercourse. The do's and don'ts of intercourse while cycling and while not cycling, and it's an important question, right? And so there's a couple ways to look at it. There's a couple ways to look at intercourse for procreation, and a couple ways to look at it for fun, right? And health benefits. And intercourse is, a lot of the time is really important to a lot of relationships. Some relationships need more, some relationships need less, but it's there. And when you start to go through IVF cycles or family planning, it changes it a little bit, right? It changes it because now there's times that you want to try to conceive, and times you don't want to conceive, and times you shouldn't have it, and times you shouldn't. So I just wanted to kind of touch base on the do's and don'ts of intercourse during cycles. And so I'll just, right out of the bat, I'll start with intercourse during IVF or IUI cycles. So intercourse is great, right? We all love it. And so there's times when you shouldn't have intercourse, right? So obviously, if you're going to give a sample, and this is for the men, if you're going to give a sperm sample, you don't want to ejaculate the day before your sample, right? Because then your sample is going to be a lot smaller, and the count won't necessarily be as big. So you kind of want to save up. You want to save up a little bit. So a good 3 or 4 days before you give a sample for IUI or IVF, you want to abstain from ejaculating. So that's, keep that in mind. That's pretty common sense, but not everybody knows that. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. And also, if you've had a PESA and you've had you've removed sperm, and you've had a PESA, you might want to, at your comfort level, you can ejaculate that day, but it might be discomforting. It might hurt a little bit. So, generally speaking, waiting a day or 3 is not a bad idea. And you just, it goes off of your comfort level. And that's for men, So, if you've had a PESA, if you're having a PESA or have a PESA or you're going to give a sample, you need to abstain a little bit, and just to ensure that the sample is full, as full as it can be. And for women, intercourse during the IVF cycle, essentially leading up to retrieval, it's okay to have intercourse. But once you've had your retrieval, in between retrieval and transfer, you might want to abstain from it. You might want to, wait, because we don't want you to get pregnant right before your transfer, right? So, ideally, you're going to want to. I apologize. Ideally, you're going to want to abstain in between retrieval and transfer. So, don't do that. But once you've had your transfer, it's okay to go ahead and have intercourse. You can have it that day of if you want to, or anytime after that. And so, it's again, it's all about your comfort level. So keep that in mind, okay? All comes down to how you're feeling about intercourse. It's you want to take some time off, take some time off. You want to get back at it, get back at it. And there's some studies out there showing that intercourse is not such a bad idea after IUI or even IVF. So keep that in mind too. Now, in regards to intercourse in Chinese medicine, it's a little different. And for Chinese medicine, intercourse is for one thing only, and that is procreation. So there's some restrictions on Chinese medicine and trying to conceive a child. They're a little different than maybe what you've heard in the past. So essentially, when you're trying to conceive a child, you want to be as healthy and energetic as you possibly can, so you can transfer the mother's Jing and the father's Jing, which is their pure essence, to the embryo, to the baby, to create life. And so if you're exhausted or you're sick or you're stressed out, it's not advised to try to conceive at that point in time, because you aren't going to get the best essence at the moment. So, we encourage everyone to be rested. So if you're rested and, your luteal hormone is surging, great. But if you're exhausted and your luteal hormone is surging and you're ovulating, wait 6 hours, or, if you can, and then try to conceive it. And I've seen this time and time again where, women get pregnant and conceive, 1, 2, 3, 4 days after ovulation. So it's not like that. Boom, there's a light, the window's open, you got to go, and then the window closes. It's not like that at all. So wait until you're rested. And in Chinese medicine, they also don't recommend that you try to conceive during severe weather. And that's because of all the wind and all the cold, but mostly all the wind trying to get into your body. And and it goes back to if you're ill or you're tired or you don't feel good, it's going to make your essence not as strong as it otherwise could be. So try to avoid that as well. Now, there's not a lot of research backing that up. It's just old thought. And in all honesty, it's not such a bad idea, because wind inside the body and cold wind and pathogens are a real thing. And so if you're trying to create the best essence possible, then just wait out the weather. And other than those, common, restrictions that we've talked about, there's really nothing holding you back other than how you're feeling at the time. And if if you don't feel like it, then don't do it, right? And I know it's brief, and I hope it helps. It's a big topic that I get questions a lot about it, and it's important to a lot of people, and it's important to a lot of couples to know these things. The worst thing to do is to just not know. And so some people think they have to wait the entire time, even after a transfer, until they get their beta, and then then they can go from there. But you don't have to. If you're ready the day of, then go right ahead. Just take it easy. And there's also some issues in regarding structural anomalies in the body that make it difficult to conceive because of scar tissue and other things as well. And there are some techniques you can do to help increase your odds of conceiving naturally that you might not know of. So I encourage you to research that online on techniques and tips on trying to conceive if you have a lot of scar tissue or you're retroverted or inverted. So keep that in mind. And so, just because it's not working one way, it could work another way. I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a wonderful fall, And please set up a consultation with me on Wednesdays. And if you need anything, email me. Thank you.